Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Unplugged. This is Arshak
And I'm Mana.
and we talk all things real estate over here. And today we've got amazing
Guest.
Sarah Cincotta.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. How are you doing?
Really well, life is great.
Oh, that's good to hear. This is positive.
That's what we want.
So Sarah, before we talk about real estate and everything,
Before we talk about all the boring stuff.
That's not boring. Come on.
That's the fun stuff.
Exactly. Tell us your journey, how you started, and what got you in the field you are today.
Yes.
In the rental management field.
Yes, I have been in real estate for over 10 years now. I started as an assistant property manager, went up to having my own portfolio as a property manager. I then went into the business development manager space. For those watching that don't know what a business development manager does.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, they essentially are responsible for the growth of the rental department division within real estate offices. Then I also launched my own business a year and 4 months ago now, and now I mentor business development managers in the real estate industry. So,
Oh wow, that's good.
yeah.
So just to be clear, what is the difference between a business development manager and a property manager?
Sure. So property managers
For
are...
people who don't know.
Yeah, great question. Property managers are responsible for the day-to-day management of an investor's property or properties.
Right.
So when it comes to routine inspections, when it comes to letting of properties, when it comes to maintenance, nurturing two-way relationship between a landlord and a tenant, essentially everything in between, that's what a property manager is responsible for.
Right.
Business development managers aren't responsible for the management side. They are responsible to essentially bring in new investor clients to a business and nurture the longevity of that relationship within the real estate businesses.
Okay.
So the business development manager, if I'm hearing it right, helps bring in the investors and take care of the investors, while the property managers take care of their investment.
Of their clients,
Yes.
investment properties, and for the tenants as well, because it's equally as important for real estate businesses to maintain great relationships with not just the landlords but for the tenants as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Which not a lot, sadly, what I've seen is not a lot of property managers are doing.
Yes, and I think that's why I created my business, is just to help support, directors, property managers and business development managers really reach new heights within their businesses and provide that great customer service to investors, because now more than ever we do need really great people on the ground that are just going above and beyond and helping investors on their journey with their investment properties.
So what are some of the main challenges that you face in the business these days?
In my own business?
Or when you were on the field?
On the field, as a business development manager, I think a big challenge, and what I'm seeing at the moment with a lot of people I'm talking to, is the market conditions. So market will go up and down. I like to view it as a spiral. So when the market is up, it's great, but usually it'll come back down and it'll go back up again. So it's just a challenge to continue to have that persistence and determination and dedication that no matter what market conditions are out there, we're still responsible in our roles and our customer service to provide that to not just our team, but to our clients as well.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you see a lot of panic these days in the market, like when it comes to investors or the seasonal or the new investors, I would say? Not the seasonal investors, like Arshak always says,
Yeah.
Seasonal investors know that there's always a cycle, as you just said, that look, there's a real estate cycle. The property market goes up, comes down, but at the end of the day, there's a 10 to 15 years of cycle where the real estate doubles.
Yeah.
So seasoned investors know that, but it's just the newer investors who are panicking when the market goes down or where there's an uncertainty in the market.
Yeah, I think, look, the media is really good at portraying essentially one side to the story, and there's definitely some panic out there, but I also think that there is fear with the uncertainty of what's going to be happening, but there's so many great opportunities, and as you two know, for investors, when you think of the long term, it is definitely, when you have an investment property, looking at, okay, how can I have a strategy to make sure that I can hold this property to reach their goals, right?
100%.
And I think that's what a lot of people are doing now, is it takes a whole team of people to really help an investor along that journey, and just to educate them that now more than ever we actually need investors to hold properties. We've got rental prices,
exactly. I was coming to that,
rates.
because this is like, I would say this is buyer's market at the moment.
Yeah.
And more we need investors, and people are scaring out, but this is the time to actually jump and invest, because this is going to take you long term.
And plus, there's a shortfall of houses in Australia right now. As you just said, we need investors, we need money, people to put in their money in the real estate sector.
Absolutely.
But with obviously, we've been hearing about the rental crisis. There's a rental crisis. There's a rental crisis. So how does that affect, as in your experience as a BDM, as being in the rental space, to investors? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or how can they take advantage of this situation?
Yeah, I think right now it's really great that I'm actually seeing a lot of leaders and a lot of people in real estate and the property management space speak up, because now more than ever we actually need people to talk about what's actually happening. We need to encourage investors that there are still great opportunities out there. If you have the support, the guidance, you've got your strategies, your goals to be able to hold those properties. And like you said, great opportunities right now.
100%.
Rental prices are really great. I think also can be a misconception. A lot of people are going, oh, rents are so high. However, we had 3 years ago, we had a pandemic. Rents actually decreased significantly. Now then it's stabilised, and now because of the shortage of rental properties that we are seeing, some areas are seeing that spike in the rental prices. So I think it's just being in control of how you educate people, the value piece, being really aware of the market and telling that to investors, saying this is the rental yield on a property. These are the kind of renters that you will be able to attract on your property.
That is very important. A lot of people don't talk about the kind of investors. They're just talking about the rental yield.
Correct, And there's different motivations behind different investors. So it could be because of capital growth, it could be that they're wanting cash flow, it could be that wanting to capitalise on their current existing home that they have, and they're pulling the equity out to build a portfolio. But interesting enough, in Australia, majority of investors are mum and dads.
100%.
And they've got one investment property. So I think right now it's just how we can take control and have these conversations and have the courage to be able to support them. So how can we help you? Do you need to speak to a mortgage broker? Do you need to speak to a financial advisor? Do we need to restructure some things for you? And to be able to help them maximise their return, hold on to them. Because the market will come up again,
100%.
and everyone will be so glad that they did just stick it out through the moment.
Because right now what I always say is, if you can hold right now or you can buy right now, whenever there is a recession or whenever the property cycle is below, whenever the property market is low, that's when you get the opportunities, and when everything goes back, as you just said, that's when you grab the fruit.
Absolutely, and it was great the conversations we were having, off shoot about what's actually happening in specific suburbs, and the thing is that I feel like from my experience as well, working with investors, is that a lot of the time they had just spent thousands, if not millions of dollars on a property without researching actually what is going to be the rental return. What is this going to look like for me in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years? What are the kind of renters that I'm going to be able to attract for this property? What's the demographic? So I think that's where right now we can be so supportive in educating people on what they can do and how they can get into the market.
Yeah, that's very true. And then there's another thing which there's another question that I usually get from investors, especially mom-dad investors, and that there are a lot. That, okay, we got a rental property, so there are two options that a lot of people are doing, which I just think there's one, but a lot of people think there are two. That either we go to a property management company to handle their investment portfolio, or they just rent it out themselves. So what do you think is the better option, and why?
Well, from experience and working with so many,
I just know the answer.
That is the reason I said, look, for me, I think with experience, just one option. But what does your experience say?
My experience is always hire a professional. When you are dealing with a property management company, you're paying them for their knowledge, experience, expertise in having to deal with situations that may or may not occur every single day. So that's why you hire someone. It's because they've been on the ground, they know what can happen. Also, we've had so much change to the legislation.
Yes.
So many changes. We don't expect our clients to understand, hundreds of pages. And it's just, I guess it's the same as having insurance on your property. Okay, you've got insurance on your property just in case something happens. You've got that security and peace of mind there. It's the same with hiring a property manager. You're hiring them for the security and peace of mind that they are trained and have the skills and the knowledge to be able to support them in the event that something happens. And to also, it is a lot of time that goes into managing a property.
100%, that is true.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't see what happens behind the scenes, but every day there can be something different happening, and it's just having the right team of professionals that can help and support and guide through those times. Routine inspections, people think that you just go there for 5 minutes and just check if the tenants have cleaned their house, and it's much more than that goes on behind the scenes.
We were just talking about that off camera.
It's just that I think people don't realize that professionals are in place for a reason. Holistic medicine is good. You can do home remedies, but there's a point you need to go to a doctor for their special guidance. You need to get some tests done. Just like that, you need to go to a professional for certain things because they are there for certain reasons.
Absolutely.
And just that small amount of money people are trying to save is going to cost them big.
I think you just, there are unfortunately still, I think when you look at it from a cost perspective, and again, time is money, okay? So it's, you put this investment into someone else, you're going to see the return of the investment in other ways to support. Well, we are going to help you so that doesn't happen, so that it doesn't cost you extra money, so that we're finding and screening great tenants for your property that will want to stay for the long term, which saves them money for having to pay essentially a marketing fee and a letting fee every year, which is a big expense to an investor.
But look, the investor, what I believe is what the investors are saving is the time and all the hassle that they're going to go through by saving that marketing or the letting fees. That is still less than what they are going to pay with time and money, because what usually happens, as you just said, a professional can actually screen the tenant and see what kind of a tenant is going to come in the house professionally. But as an investor, as a mom and dad investor, we don't know how to screen a tenant, how to see, if they are going to take care of the property or not. Sometimes what happens, I've seen this happening a lot, because I used to work in Melton.
Yes.
So I've seen this happening a lot, that tenants used to come in the house and then they used to crush the house like anything. But look, a $2,000, a $2,500 or a $1,500 bond won't cover those expenses, and then the tenants just run away, they don't pay the property, and that is your cost then that you have to pay to maintain that property. So to save all these costs, all these hassles, all these problems, I think that's where professionals come in.
I think it's more like, just for investment also, like we always advise people as professionals that don't use your emotions. Use your brains. It's just for this also. Sometimes you do family and friends transactions, even for tenants and stuff. That's where your emotions come in, and then you can't really talk about things that should be talked out or should be on the paper.
Absolutely. And I could talk probably all day about stories from self-managing landlords that ended up coming on as a client that did rent their properties out to family or friends. And it's great, they're wanting to help out, but what you said was spot on. It's that they have that emotional attachment.
True.
Whereas when you're hiring a property manager, yes, they still need to have empathy to both sides.
100%.
But they're coming from a place of, well, we want to get the best result possible for you. We've seen the stories, we've had to navigate through that, and this is how we can help you so it doesn't occur to you. And having those right things set up in place in the start. And I think that's such a crucial part of the journey, is just getting everything cemented correctly from the beginning.
From the beginning, 100%. Look, you did say about stories. I really want to know some really, really amazing stories, or the most awkward story that you remember. With a tenant or an investor, but before that, I want to ask you, if an investor, he recently bought an investment property, mom and dad, first home, first investment. So now they know that they want to get a property manager or a company who can manage their portfolio, their investment. What are the top 2 or 3 things that they need to look at before hiring a company to manage their property?
Sure.
So because there are a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pull that bit backwards.
Yeah.
I feel like a big mistake that I see investors making is that they're waiting till the end to hire a property manager.
Okay.
Before they are even going and looking at purchasing a property. And yes, I know there are buyer agents and buyer advisors out there, but it's to have a property manager on their side that will say, hey, this is how many tenants we've got at the moment looking for a property in this area. This is the rent that you'll be able to achieve on this property. We talk from a investor support service, okay? So if they're looking to build a property, let's just say house and land, what are the things that you could implement to this property that will increase the return to attract a higher quality renter? Okay? So that would be the first thing, is that, like we were talking about earlier, it takes a team of people.
100%.
It's just to have a property management expert or a business development manager or an investor relationship manager on that journey with them at the start. So that would be my first tip, is to have someone from the very start. Yeah. Because there was too many times when I was dealing with investors that they would purchase a property and then we'd give them a rental appraisal and they go, oh, is that all I'm going to achieve on my property? They had no idea the rental return.
There are a lot of people they don't know.
And they had already spent that money. So it's like, well, this is what's happening, and showing them actually this is what's happening in the market right now. And to having the proof with that. So I think it's really great to just have someone that knows on the ground what's happening in the market, where they're looking to buy, who's speaking to renters every day, so that they've got that education.
So even if they're looking to, as you just said, that they need to look for a team. You need a team before you go ahead and do the task.
Absolutely.
So even if they're starting out and they're like, okay, look, before I buy an investment, I need to go look for a property manager who can help me out. So what is the top 1 thing that they can see that, okay, this is the one that I'm going to go with? So what is the top 1?
I think, look, market knowledge is definitely a high priority. It's having an agent that knows what is happening and identifying what's happening in the market. They need to be able to know the statistics. They also, I think, in terms of a database and having people that they're talking to regularly in terms of tenants, so that they have pre-qualified renters ready to go. Okay? That also can support them with the intricacies, like we've got now compliance, minimum standards that properties need to adhere to in Victoria. So your property management expert will be able to guide them with that as well. So I think definitely having the market knowledge, market awareness, and having someone that is talking to renters every day. I'm always big on local agencies, because they are the ones who are talking to people in the area. They know what's happening right now, what's happening in the future. We were talking earlier about infrastructure and all of these things that they'll be able to have conversations with them about. This is going to be a great buy. This is why though. This is what the data is showing us, and just being able to have that conversation.
And plus, just to continue what you said, is that a good property manager or a good BDM can actually help you see, or help an investor see that, look, obviously, I mean, with looking at the market, they can tell you, look, this was what the rent used to be, this is what the rent is right now, but at the same time, what is important for an investor is to see 3 years, 5 years ahead as well, so they can let you know that in the future, by looking at the numbers, what the rent is going to be. Because at the end of the day, the rent is not going to stay the same.
Not only the rent, but a local agent can always tell you what kind of tenants are coming in this area.
That's right.
Whether they are families, whether they are students, and what are you looking for? Are you looking to tenant your house to students, or youngsters or families? You need to see the quality of the tenants.
Absolutely.
Only the local agent can tell you the quality of the
100%.
area.
Look, now comes the good question that I was waiting for. The most awkward story that you can think of right now in your career.
There's so many.
In your 10 years of career, what is
I think I'll use an example, and going back to what we're talking about, why the importance of having a property manager look after investment. It was a beautiful couple that I had that were clients of mine, had an investment property in southeast suburbs of Melbourne. Now, brand new townhouse, and we did do great screening of the tenants that went into that property. Unfortunately, they had a breakdown and separated, and we had complaints from the neighbours that there was quite a lot of animals inside the property. So we seek permission to get access. However, the renters ended up deciding they wanted to break their lease because they were both on the lease agreement.
Yeah.
Now, when I had to go and do the final inspection, once the renters handed back their keys, there was $9,500 worth of damages to the property.
This is what I was just talking about.
Yeah, there was a toilet bowl broken that was actually had dirt inside the toilet bowl. There was feces all on the house, so your brand new walls, brand new carpet.
Oh my God.
They had chewed the termite protection at the back of the property. So great example though is that with the case put forward to VCAT and great landlord insurance in place, so any investors right now who are watching, I really encourage you get landlord insurance, but all of the costs to get the property back to the original standard was covered. But this was because I had the knowledge, experience of the court system, what we needed to do to represent our landlord the best way possible so that they had no loss at all. With getting that scenario back to, well, this was the problem, this is the solution, this is how I did it, and this was the best testimonial that I ever had as a property manager, because they were just over the moon that their property was returned back to the original condition.
And that was because of the expertise, the knowledge, and the mortgage the landlord insurance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's for the people.
For the people, yeah.
What is landlord insurance?
Landlord insurance.
And why is it important?
Yeah, why?
I know you just said why is it important, but in simple words, why is it important?
It's important because you just never know. So even as property managers, we do the best possible. We try the best way possible to get the best renters. However, circumstances can change. Like I just said, unfortunately, this couple, they had a separation. So obviously things didn't turn out very well for them. Landlord insurance will cover like rent loss, pet damage, malicious damage to a property. So the things that are probably most problematic to investors going, oh, well, I don't necessarily want pets on my property. Well, first of all, you can't say no to pets now anyway in Victoria, but it's so that you have that extra peace of mind and security that just in case something happens, you've got that protection there. Same with your car, right? We're all on the road, we're driving our cars, just in case someone hits us, we have cover, everything's all good.
Everything's all good.
It'll get sorted.
That's what we need.
Yeah, similar way that we look at landlord insurance is just in case something might happen from the tenants, that they will cover you.
It's basically a health insurance for your house.
Yeah, that's right. But also doing due diligence because different insurance companies will cover different things. Same as car insurance, you'll have different levels of cover, so it's just making sure that you're reading the contract and making sure everything is covered in your landlord insurance.
That is amazing. Thank you very much, Sarah.
So let's begin with our rapid fire round.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Have you ever been into a haunted house?
No. Not that I know of.
Any old house that you think is haunted? Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you scared of haunted houses?
No.
Have you ever rented a house with bizarre antiques in them?
No.
Oh.
Would you rather work on apartments or big villas?
Big.
Would you rather work on properties which are in the city, apartments, units, or maybe big villas in the country or in the outskirts?
Country or outskirts?
Have you ever had a celebrity client?
Yes.
So, would you invest in a property with a colorful history, or would you rather just invest in a new home?
History.
Would you rather live in an Airbnb in the outskirts in front of the beach, or in a tiny house Airbnb on the mountain?
Oh, that's a hard one because I love both the beach and the mountains.
I'm excited.
So, for me, it's beach because the water is very grounding for me, although I do love nature, and those that do know me quite well, I'm all about being amongst nature, but if I had a preference, it would be the beach.
Alright, thank you very much, Sarah, for being, it was amazing talking to you.
Both of you were so great.
It
Alright,
was
so
nice.
before we let her go, there's a question here you wanted to ask her.
Yes. So from your last 10 years of experience, what is one piece of advice you would like to give to our investors or first home buyers?
Do your research is the first one,
Yeah.
and make sure that you have a power team of people to support you along your journey.
Oh, 100%. Team is everything. You can't
Yeah.
work alone. You can't go to places by being alone.
That's
True.
right. I think this is a golden advice. And to get more advices from you, where can the audience reach you?
Sure, so you can find me on multiple different social platforms. You have my number there, so I'm always up for people giving me a call if they want to have a chat and ask any questions. I'm just here to support as many people as I can as well on their journey.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thanks guys,
Thank you
thanks
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you.